Welcome to Face, the program
that frontally discusses
political and social issues in Nigeria. The weekly program brought to you on Wednesday by 6 p.m. Nigerian time, anchored by Prince Ewemade Concourse, powered by GCSDN.
Join us.
Yes, good evening to all our wonderful viewers all over the world, and welcome to today's edition of Face to Face program. Our topic for today is how can we stabilize the value of Naira? That is our topic for today. Many Nigerians have the notion that floating of the Nigerian Naira was done in good faith, one that is needed to create a level playing field in the foreign exchange market. It allows all participants to buy and sell at the same price. This is the case in all efficient markets, where the value of currency depends on demand and supply. The benefit of floating currency exchange rate are the lack of need for large reserves. It also gives the central bank the ability to target domestic conditions more effectively, e.g., to price stability, money supplies, full employment, and stable goods. So we also have to look at how does the floating rate help the environments of Naira in Nigeria as well. There are two factors that we also must look at when it comes to stabilizing the value of Naira in Nigeria. There are two factors we must look at: the the trade imbalance, lack of transparency of import and export windows. Those are things that we also must look into when we talk about stabilizing the value of Naira in Nigeria. We all know that there are many factors that have contributed to the depreciation of Nigerian currency, which is the Naira. Factor one: Nigeria imports more than the exports. Everybody knows that we import more than export. Our import and our exports, you cannot compare both of them. So that also contributes to the problem we are facing when it comes to Naira appreciating against the foreign currency. There are less demand for Naira, hence it is cheaper than other currency in demand, that is paid against. The factor two that we must also look at: the IEW is not level playing field for all participants in the forex market. There are a group of Nigerians holding foreign currency and speculating on the price to make instant gain in the market. That's another thing, another factor. For example, company A, for example, requests a 200 million US dollar from an IE window to legitimately purchase goods from abroad. However, it needs 75 million to pay back foreign partner. Company A now has 125 million to hold and speculate on. This amount is no longer available to other participants. Now multiply this practice by 100%. The effect on the economy is better left to one imagination. This holding practice by those in the IEW creates artificial scarcity of foreign currency, demand and supply effect. So these are some of the things that is creating, that is depreciating Nigerian currency against the foreign currency. To ensure stability of Naira, we must recommend adopting at least following 7 steps that I believe that are needed to be addressed or adopted by the federal government of Nigeria. 1, collapse the I and E window. That must be collapsed. Floating the Naira at the same time maintaining the import and export window. I and E window is a recipe for corruption. It is not surprise. It is not surprise. It is no surprise the spread between official and black market trade has widened despite the new government effort to align both. The I and E windows, not transparent. It favors round and above all pushes up the price level. It should not exist in a free float. That's step one. Importer A and importer B import the same product. However, importer A source most of its fund from the IE window, while importer B source its fund from the black market. It does not take a rocket science to know importer B will have to close shop. Doesn't take a rocket science for you to know that, because importer A now has the monopolistic hold. He has a free reign to do as he pleases with price increase, inflation rate in the process. To curb the increase in inflation, the central bank increases rates and beat goes on. The beat goes on. In case of a dog chasing a tail, the central bank is continuously behind the curve ends, while real interest rates are always negative. Everyone should source their forest need from the interbank OTC market. Nigeria should operate a market that is fair to everyone. There should be no exception to the rules. If the CBN believes the value of Naira is below its fundamental value, it should intervene in interbank OTC market. That way the tide coming will lift all boats, not a selected few as it is today in the IE windows. The regulatory body should then be given the task to oversee the activities of the forest market, to forestall and stamp out market abuses, limit monetary financing, zero tolerance for corruption, risk management, encourage speculators, export infrastructure, patriotism. These are some of the things that must be done in order for us to be able to stabilize our currency, to stabilize the value of Naira. When let's look at the case of limiting monetary financing, for example, the government should limit its borrowing to the amount it stipulates in laws, not adhering to this limit increase money supply, which put pressure on the exchange rate. The government should investigate widening a tax base as an alternative to monetary financing. Those are one of the ways, 7 ways we can address this issue. Zero tolerance to corruption. That's another thing we must also look at. Corruption is basically eating up the country. A lot of Nigeria, as an example, have huge dollar operation, huge dollar obligation outside the shore of Nigeria, which they must service. Most of these obligations are being serviced by corrupt practice. That's the bitter truth, whether you believe it or not. A crackdown on this Hydra-aided problem will mean a lot of Nigerians will have to unwind dollar obligation, reducing demand pressure on our currency. Let's also look at the risk assessment as well. Nigeria needs to embrace risk assessment principle and refrain from policy driven by emotion and public pressure. Economic agents, including the government, will have to learn how to hedge their exposure of volatility and depreciation or appreciation of Naira. Nigeria has market infrastructure to regulate the over-the-counter transaction. That is very, very important. FMDQ is positioned to provide a safety depository for financial market access, as well as facilitate settlement of capital. settlement of capital market transaction. It can also help many exporters in hedging against any future increases in price. This is multi-billion-dollar financial instrument that can be offered to many importers to ease the burden of persistent rise in price. I also give you, for example, importer A has a dollar obligation to settle 3 times big collections. There is a possibility the naira depreciation within the 3 months. Importer A, we have to sell 3 months naira future contract to lock in today's exchange rate. This simple risk management tools ensure the depreciation of naira is not passed to the final it's now passed to the final consumer. It's not passed to the final consumer. Then also we also have to look at encourage speculators. The government will also encourage speculators to actively participate in FS market. A huge percentage of the $6 trillion daily FX turnover in the global FS market is speculations. Speculator takes the other side of the trade and provide liquidity to the market, which helps reduce volatility and reduce bid ask spread for corporate users. It is not the job of the government to provide liquidity to the FX market, no, unless it is intervening to show up the value of the naira. We have to look at the export and infrastructure. Export of semi-processed and finished goods should be actively encouraged. More jobs are created this way that we encourage FDI flows rather than hot money flows. Incentives should be provided to exporters of semi-processed and finished goods. Infrastructures helps increase the output capacity of country, ultimately reducing the overheating. We also have to look at the patriotism. Nigeria must be patriotic. The country is basically eating itself from inside. Yes, that's the bitter truth. Because we have many in power who believe that the only way they can make their money, quick money now, is to do the opposite. Most of the issues are purely self-inflicted. I quite agree on that. There is no free lunch anywhere in the world. It is what you sow, what is what you reap. That is very true. What you sow is what you reap. The government via central bank should refrain from throwing funds at shoring up the value of naira. It is like jumping in front of fast-moving train. It's not a win situation. We should learn 1 or 2 things from other countries that have burnt their reserve trying to protect the value of their currency. Most funds raised should be used to address structural rigidities within the economy. Rigidities within the economy. The economy, and not use the intervene in the forex market. You see, a lot of the factors has contributed over time to the depreciation of naira. Like I said, or like I've stated, we import things, and what we export out of the country, I mean, it's probably not up to 3% for export. And we have quite a lot of things that we should be exporting. We should show Nigerian to the world. So that way, and also everything in Nigeria, people is always import. We should also patronize the local products. That's another thing we must do. Before we continue, let me just quickly show you the Bloomberg newspaper. The Bloomberg newspaper said the analysis into, okay, Goldman Sachs. Let's see, let me go down. Bloomberg newspaper, the Naira has been devalued twice since June, but after Bola Tinubu ended Nigeria's long-standing practice of fixing the exchange rate, Nigeria's prolonged battle to stabilize its currency is finally bearing fruit. Well, that's what they say on the news, on the paper, on the media, with analysts now forecasting the battered Naira could rebound sharply before the end of this year. Analysis of Goldman Sachs, a group incorporation, 50 group incorporation standards, and chartered PLC. Naira has been devalued twice since June, after newly elected President Bola Tinubu ended Nigeria's long-standing practice of fixing the exchange rate alongside other reforms to lower foreign money and boost the economy. While the process has been painful within the currency, sliding 70% against the greenback to low of 1,627 earlier this month, the Naira has steadied in recent days. Further, the gap between the official and non-official market and narrow sharply. We shouldn't even have black market, because I don't think there's any country in the world where you have black market beside Nigeria, where you go. I mean, the currency, everything should be done in the bank, and that's it. It should stop there. This issue of buying money, black market, this and that, we use Naira, not dollar. Why is everything being determined by dollars and foreign currency in our country? This must stop. Razian Khan, chief economist for Africa and Middle East at the Standard Chartered, see the Naira ending 2024 in 1,200 to 1,300 Naira. That is rubbish. That's quite from 197 in 2005. In 2015 to 1,300. That is still not acceptable. It's not acceptable. So we must, we must focus on buying products made in Nigeria. Patronize only made in Nigeria, nothing else. We should stop buying foreign products. Yes, because those are one of the factors that brought us where we are today, where our Naira from 197 in 2015, 9 years or 10 years later, our Naira is about almost 1,617. The pound is over 2,000, almost 2,000. So that means it's probably, we can't continue to live like this. So everybody must be advocating for local products. Buy made in Nigeria, eat made in Nigeria, everything made in Nigeria. Stop buying foreign food. Stop patronizing the foreign product. Let's invest more in our infrastructural sector, in production. Let's start producing things that we need. Those are the areas that I firmly believe that if we're able to tackle this issue of Naira shoring up day and night, from 197 that people thought were still on the high side in 2015 to almost 1,617 as of 2024. This is anyway. Let's take a quick break before we continue. Let me just put something,
Just the play, oh, just the play. Sir, I'm an influencer, but I don't have data to follow up matters. My brother, no problem. You no get BBC, you dey shout we need change, we need a new Nigeria, my brother. Just the play. You think it's funny? They play now, no problem. Just the play. You think say na me you dey do? Just the play.
Yes, we now play with the play. We are just making fun of ourselves in that country until we learn to focus to do the right thing and encourage more production of the product we can eat or we produce, and stop buying things that we don't produce. Focused on local production. That will also help us to regain for Naira to regain its strength back. Because 1,000 something per dollar is. Don't think that's something that we want to continue. Before you know it, dollar will be maybe 3,000. Will now become Zimbabwe. That their money became so worthless that they now have millions. They're now using millions to buy bread in Zimbabwe. God forbid. My brothers and sisters, my fellow countrymen, On this note, I say good night and God bless you. See you again, same time, same place on this channel.